Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. You know, a dragon would never explode, but a dino might. Speaking of dragons, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Flamecraft from Lucky Duck Games. In Flamecraft from Lucky Duck Games, 1 to 5 players take on the roles of Flame Keepers. Essentially, you are helping dragons out and using dragons and other sorts of dragon things, and you're hoping to increase your reputation and get the most reputation of all. That's how you win. Now you're going to go ahead and set out the game mat. It's got spaces for various stores and shops that are going to pop up along the board. Each player is going to take a player aid in the color they want, along with a dragon and a reputation marker. You're going to place the reputation marker at the beginning of the reputation track. You're also going to get a companion card. This is kind of a one-time ability that you can use during the game. You're also going to set out your artisan dragons in a deck, along with 5 you'll draw to put in the park. You're going to have fancy dragons. These are special scoring cards. And you're also going to have enchantments. Now, there's 2 enchantment decks. There's a standard enchantment deck and kind of a more difficult enchantment deck, so you can pick which one you want to use. And you're going to go ahead and put that out and lay out a number of enchantment cards face up. Now, on the board, you're going to lay out the starting locations. You're going to lay out a number of starting locations, and you're going to place a starter dragon with each of them. Now, the locations, the stores, they're going to be associated with one of the currencies. And you're going to go ahead and, as I say, match the starting dragons with those starting locations. Now, critically, there are 7 resources, but you can never have more than 7 of each resource. So theoretically, you could have 49 resources, but it probably won't get to that. Now, over the course of the game, you are visiting shops and doing things and taking special actions. Now, you can really do 2 actions on your turn. You can gather goods by visiting a shop, or you can do an enchant action. Essentially, if you visit the shops, you send your dragon there, and they are going to be able to collect goods that are already showing. So any of those face-up dragons that are there, if they have a currency on it, you'll get that. You'll get the currency from the shop. And if there are any completed enchanted cards above it, you will also get those currencies. So it's a way to kind of just get a lot of currency right there at that point. Now, next, you can also, as part of that action, place one of the dragons from your hand on one of the open spaces in that shop, provided that the currency you see in that empty space matches the currency of the dragon you're placing there. If you do that, you'll be able to gain a reward from that space. Next, what you can do is you can look at any of the 1 to 3 dragons that have been placed in that location and look at their flame ability. This is the ability at the bottom of the card. And you can choose one of those to do. And this may be a way to get resources or get cards or do some other funky things. Now, as the game evolves, you will eventually be getting more locations on the board. This is whenever you fill up one location with 3 dragons, you're going to put a new location on the board. And some of these new locations will actually have special abilities, and you can do one of those special abilities at that time. So that's your first action. The second action is you can enchant. Essentially, you look at the enchantment cards in the middle of the game mat, and you can go ahead and take one of those, provided you can pay for its cost. And if you go to a location that matches its icon, you can pay that cost and gain the victory points or other rewards associated with that card. Now, after you enchant, you put the enchantment card in the top of that location, and then you can do up to 3 flame actions from that location. So if there's 3 dragons there, you can do all 3 of those flame locations. If there's less than that, you can do however many there are there. So those are the basic 2 actions. There's a few things to also know. When you go to a location where somebody else is there, you have to pay them a resource. If there's multiple people there, you have to pay them all resources. Now, critically too, on your turn, you may have some of those fancy dragons. The fancy dragons are a way to score. Now, some of your fancy dragons will have a sun icon. On your turn, at any time, you can play one of those sun fancy dragons in order to claim whatever reward is on it. So players are going around and around. They are doing the gather goods action, claiming resources. They're able to do the flaming action, or they are doing the enchantment action, in which case they are enchanting, getting points and other goodies for that, and then being able to flame at all of the dragons at a location. Now, as soon as you burn through the artesian dragon deck and you need to place one, there isn't one there, or if you burn through the enchantment deck and there isn't one there, that signals the end game. Every player takes one final round, and then once you do that, you can go to scoring. Now, during scoring, of course, you're going to be looking at your reputation point, but you may also have special abilities on some of your cards, and you may critically have those fancy dragons that have the moons on them, and that's final endgame scoring. So you go ahead and add up all of the points on your reputation track, and whoever has the greatest reputation wins. Flamecraft. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. Okay, there's a little bit more going on here, but that's basically how the game is played. Now, I'm late to the party. This game has been out here for a few years, and I heard a lot of people go on and on about how good it was, and I just never got a chance to play it. And I kept thinking at some point I would like to. And bless her heart, my stepdaughter for Christmas bought me this game. She didn't even know I was interested in it. She just thought it looked like a fun game, so I went ahead and I gratefully accepted it. I was so thrilled that I would get a chance to play this game. So the other night, some of my friends were over and we started playing Flamecraft. And right off the bat, I will tell you, this is a very easy game to learn and to play. Some of the card effects, the location effects, you might have to look up here and there, but it's not hard. All the answers are in the rule book. It's a pretty decent rule book, and I think generally this is a really easy game to learn. And yet there is some real strategy here. There is some real good choices about where you place your dragons, or which location you want to go to. Which resources do I need in order to accomplish something? And of course, you're looking at the enchantment, trying to see what I want to get. What enchantments do I want to get? And then there's always that tension of when you know what you want to get, is somebody else going to take it on their turn? And I really appreciated that. So I think the game is really fun. I think it looks beautiful. I love the neoprene mat that it comes with, which is a real long mat. Folds up nice in the box. It's great. It's beautiful, and I like the shops, how they come out. It's just a beautiful production with the cards and the little dragons. And I think they did the Kickstarter, if I'm not mistaken, that was a little more fancier. And I think this is just the retail version, and I think the retail version is just beautiful. I really liked it. So we went ahead, we played this game, and we all fell in love with it. It is, it's a charming game. It's got some wonderful artwork, which helps draw you in. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not somebody that's usually that's never, especially when like the artwork's kind of cutesy and stuff. I've heard this game described as cute. That usually is either a nothing burger for me, or it's kind of off-putting for me. Here, I don't know. It clicked with me. I thought it did a good job here with the cute factor. But more than that was the gameplay. Like I say, it's a simple game, but it is a fun game. And I think too, one of the reasons why I like it so much is because it's not a long game. It's about an hour, maybe a little bit more, maybe up to 90 possibly, but it's not a long game. And if this was a 2 hour plus game, yeah, it would be no good. But it just is perfect. It just fits that time frame perfectly with what you want to put into it and what you get out of it. And I really enjoyed this game, and so did my friends. Everybody who played this was, like I say, charmed with it, had a lot of fun with it. And Ray and I were talking about what we'd rate it, and we both said it's an 8. We think this is an 8 game, and it's not surprising when you consider how many people have already played and reviewed this game and have loved it. Maybe I was just expecting just to be a contrarian and not, but I really did. I was looking forward to play it, and I'm glad to see not only did it meet, but it exceeded my expectations. Flamecraft is a stellar game. So thank you very much to my stepdaughter for getting this game for me for Christmas, and I look forward to playing it again and again. Definitely going in the collection. 8 out of 10. Well, thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we'd ask you to please leave a comment for us here on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page. Check us out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, X, And please, as I say, leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Please like and subscribe this video on YouTube. We'd ask you to give it a thumb on Board Game Geek as well. And if you really do enjoy the content we bring you here, I would ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history, books on history, fun things like that. It would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to that channel as well. Also, too, if you do like this channel, I would humbly ask you to click on the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. What did the tired dragon make for dinner? Flaming yawn.
Please somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I've been dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love to fight.
I mean, I'd take another anvil if you want to give me an anvil, but I mean,
Okay, here's an
I'm
anvil.
I'm not picky.
Yeah, give me an anvil.
I gotta keep one.
Well, then why did you ask what I wanted?
They asked for it.
Dude, you need to be a little bit. Did you not learn anything in that game we played last night?